What's going on, YouTube? Let's talk about what's the difference between someone who's broke and someone who's rich.
Poor people usually spend their money and invest what's left. That's the philosophy of the poor. Now, here's the philosophy of the rich. Rich people invest their money and spend what's left.
Now, a main difference is the spending between broke and rich individual. And these are the things I learned as I became a millionaire. Now, there's a different levels of millionaires, and I'll go into that in another video. But
There's three type of people in this world. It's poor people, it's rich people, and it's wealthy people. The poor people, all they do is talk about money, where my money and I need my money, I got to get my money. The rich people, all they talk about is things. So they talk about my car, my house, and these type of things. The wealthy people talk about ideas.
in this video, we're going to be talking about what is the major difference between a rich people and broke people. Now, rich people tend to spend money to build asset and to buy time, while broke people spend money on liabilities and items that don't build wealth.
So I just ordered a brand new SF90 Ferrari at $650,000. Now I'm not telling you that to brag. I'm telling you that to inspire you. Listen, I would have never been able to dream of having a car that expensive unless I own shit like this.
So richer individuals focus on long-term investments like stocks and real estate and use money to save time by outsourcing tasks and buy high-quality goods that last. Now, conversely, those who has less wealth often spend beyond their means on items that depreciate, focus on short-term goals, and may spend large percentage of their income on basic necessities or impulse purchase like the lottery ticket. Now, here are 4 things that broke people buy and 4 things that rich people buy so that you understand the difference. Now, yes, I can break it down into like goals. Goals, broke people spend short-term goals, focus on what is needed or not desired, while rich people spend on long-term goals, focus on asset accumulation. The other thing that this video will feature is like asset versus liability. Now, broke people, what do? They accumulate liability, things that cost money, few assets, things that doesn't generate money. And rich people, they accumulate asset using their money that they earn from work or whatever they did to buy time to focus on high value activity. Or so you understand this. Now, the other thing you need to understand is quality versus quantity. Now, you think that broke people just buy cheap stuff. No, broke people, what they do is they buy cheap disposable items that need frequent replacement, like fast fashion. You need to understand, fashion moves every year, and if you don't have the money for it, don't fall into that trick. Now, rich rather spend their time on prefer to buy high quality, durable product that lasts a long time. Now, time. Broke people trade their time for money and hold on to tasks to save them money. That's what broke people do. Now, what rich people do with time is they trade money for time by outsourcing tasks to save time for their earnings and thinking or resting. Now, the other thing you need to understand is the financial behavior between broke spending and rich spending. Financial behavior for a broke person, they may spend beyond their means and risk average, or they spend beyond their means and risk adverse in investment because they think they're going to fail. It's not looking good for them. Now, a rich or someone who has a rich spending habit spends more overall, but a small percent of their total income on more risky investment and willing to take chances on risky investment or time off from work so that they can start their own business. Now, let's talk about what are 4 things that broke people do. So, first of all, I learned this throughout the years. I did financial coaching, I did consultant, and these are the things I found what broke people do and they have in common. And the very first thing they all have in common is they jump on every trend. And what do I mean by jumping on every trend? Fashion trend, investment trend, every trend that they come out, they go in there and they end up losing money or buying things that was not needed and they're stuck with it. A lot of broke people do this. Now, the second thing I see broke people do is they buy brands, like brand name shoes, brand name wallets, brand name outfits. I went to a party and this is a higher class party and everyone was dressed modest besides one person dressed up in everything Louis Vuitton. The purse, the outfit, and I had to ask her, how much is your total outfit? $10,000 in total. And then I had to ask her, what do you invest in? What do you do for money? And she told me, oh, she's just there and she doesn't really have investment and she just liked the fashion. And the first thing I thought, you don't have assets, you make a lot of money because you're a doctor and you bought all this stuff. So your income is spent on all this fashion. So essentially, she's living paycheck when I talk to her more in depth. So understand that. Third thing I see what broke people do is they buy brand new. And what do I mean? They buy brand new cars, they buy everything brand new because they don't want used. They have a stereotype, oh, used is bad. Used is not bad, especially if you're buying a used car or a used TV that works good. You don't have to spend a lot of money on new. You can save a ton of money buying used. And wealthy people, especially for their business, I seen them buy used for their business because at the end of the day, it saves them money. Your employee's gonna break that stuff anyways. And that's what you have to understand. And number 4, what I see broke people do is partying on the weekend. You know how much I've seen people go out and waste? I used to do this. I used to spend $400 or $500 every weekend when I was in the military. And that was causing me to be broke. Once I learned this, I stopped because that $400 or $500 every week, I'd rather invest that now for $2,000 a month for an asset that makes me money. And those are the 4 things that I seen what broke people buy or do. Now, let's talk about rich people and what they buy. The first thing I see what rich people buy is invest in assets. It's no surprise they invest in assets that makes them money in the long term. So if you want to be wealthy, and this is what I learned when I was building my first million, was to buy assets that appreciate and pays you. So I focus on appreciation asset that gives me a decent cash flow or a good ROI or return on investment. And number 2, what I see rich people do is they aren't materialistic. They're not into all the name brand stuff. They're not into keeping up with the Joneses. So they use that money to invest for the long term. So don't be like other people and try to stay up with the trend. Just stay how you are and be fine with it. As long as you don't become materialistic while you're building your wealth, you're fine. Now, if you're worth 100 million, 10 million, and you use your asset to buy luxury goods, that's a different story. You already built your wealth. But while you're building your wealth, stay away from materialistic stuff because that's gonna cost you in the long run. And number 3, what I see rich people do is they spend money on books and courses that help them pursue their careers or help their business. Now, this is a fine line because there's a lot of scammers out there. And do not fall for these scammers. You can learn a lot online for free. You can get a lot of books online for free. But wealthy people invest in their education so that they can make their business better or make more money. You understand that investing in yourself is pretty important. And number 4 is they set and crush their goals. So the biggest thing I notice about wealthy people and the people I consult for, they have goals. They have monthly goals, yearly goals, and 10-year goals, and they stick to it until they hit their goals. Sometimes they don't make it, but at least they set a goal so you know where you're going. And that's something I see a lot of wealthy people do is they set goals. I'm gonna buy a house every year. I'm gonna bring this much money every year. I'm gonna bring my net worth up this much every year. And they set these goals and they get there. So if you don't set a goal, where are you gonna go? Because you don't have nowhere to point you in a direction. So a lot of people get lost and get distracted. So those are the 4 rich versus broke things that people do. So like and subscribe to my video, and that's all I got for you.